The decoration, if you want a definition, maybe it's good just for you to have a resume about decoration. It's a staging which should reflect harmony, and harmony, it's really the secret in decoration. So we will go back later on in the bullet point and we will talk more about harmony, what is harmony, but what will bring you all the comfort, the functionality, your self-representation and everything, it comes also by a good harmony. It's a personal harmony, but this is something absolutely necessary. And also, and you touch it, it should be something very functional. Because, as you can imagine, the functionality of good interior design is very, very personal. Somebody who lives with his wife and 3 kids and 2 dogs has not the same problems that a young guy living in a big house alone and having parties and everything. So the space, the furniture, everything should be different. The volume and how we use the space, the lighting. So it's just to resume, it's harmony is really the secret, and functionality and comfort, it's a key point. Okay, so do you have any question of that? Is it logical for you? Yeah. Okay, and so your decoration, you said that it should be the reflect of your artistic sensibility. So some people are very sensitive, have a lot of sensibility. Some others, they don't care. But they can like comfort, and also they can have other requirements. But it's something very, very personal. Okay, so now we know what is decoration. But do you know what is the process when you want to do interior designing? Because when you do it, this is the same process, you know, if you work alone by yourself or if you work with an interior designer, because you have to start from A and go to Z, and you have to follow some steps, and little by little you finish the project. So for you, what is the first step when you do interior design? It will be interesting because most of the time on 8-10 steps we have 3-4 easily, but we buy a house. Yeah. So for that you will go and to Stephanie next speech. She will explain to you.
Well, there's some. I mean, in my experience, this is something that's the potentiality of the space and its location within the environment and house. You know, it's just from my practical. I'm a feng shui practitioner, and I always study the space, and it's like walls and flower and windows and light and doors. And
okay, so basically, to resume, you study the space.
I study the flow, the energy flow. What's the potential in that space? If it's empty.
Yeah, yeah.
So
sometimes it's not empty because when you do remodeling, it's full of ugly things.
Yeah, and you study the outside.
That you should forget, and because you should see only the volume, and you know, and the floor plan. And sometimes it's difficult because it could be a lot inside. Okay, so for you, first step is the fact, potential of the space, budget,
and then going wide with your imagination.
Right.
So that would be the second.
Creativity.
Yeah.
It would be probably, if I think about it, 3 more steps before you even start moving anything or buying anything. But then start with these 2.
Trigger. What triggers?
Yeah.
Well, you are the experts. Can you tell us what is your process and share that with us?
I will,
Okay.
but I want to know, you know, what people do, because I'm here to give you some tricks and also avoid any mistakes. For sure, we will talk about the process.
Ideas is like, especially in this new era of the internet, you know, I'm very friendly with the hose. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just going, let's say, this idea. You know, I need special pattern in the, let's say, master bedroom for a client, you know, and I know what I need, and then I think that now social media and the web gives the lots of visual examples.
It's right at your fingertip.
Right, so...
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Okay, you have some idea, you see nice pattern, but when do you pick the pattern? After you pick the colors? After you pick the tailings, the wood floor? After you decide to destroy a wall, to make a mirror on a wall? After you do the lighting? For sure, at a certain time you have to buy the pattern, but my question was, when? It is a good time.
Well, I think after the picking, I mean, personally, when I moved to the house just a year ago, and not being happy with the walls, that was the largest part of the skin of the, you know, because it's the surface of it.
Yeah.
So I think I personally start with that background, like a canvas.
The canvas color.
Canvas. And then you work with the certain furniture pieces that you are attached to, and certain furniture pieces that you are.
Say bye-bye to.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, you are totally right. So the first thing when you want to make an interior design process, at the very beginning, you have to choose all at once, and really all at once, all the covering and coating for the wall, for the curtains, for the ceiling, the floor, everything. And this is the first step to do, and it's quite difficult because you should be able to mix the patterns, the colors, the materials, the fabric between each other. But this is the real beginning before you do anything else. Okay, so this is basically the beginning of the process. After, you have technical steps to do. So some of them maybe you know, some of them maybe you know, you do it, but you don't know why. But if you are good, your instinct is good, and maybe you don't do any mistake. So after you pick all the coating and the covering, the first things to do is I'm talking not for a small studio, because a small studio, you will see it's very easy. But if you have, let's say, even a house with 2 bedroom, living room, maybe dining room, kitchen, bathroom, hallway, and then it becomes to be interesting. So the first thing before you go further is to make the decision about the 2 axes that you want to follow for your decoration and for the staging of the furniture. So I explain to you what it is. I make just a small drawing. So as I was saying, if you have studio like this, you don't have many options for the axes. But it's not forbidden to go like this. You know, so it depends. Maybe if you have one window here, could be interesting to have 2 axes like this. But in most of the case, you have in studio, you have 1 window in the front, and that's it. So if you have a bigger house, you have something, let's say like this. You know, basically, people go like this and put furnitures on 2 lines. So this is the most common case. But the axis should be also should follow the natural axis that you have in the house, and the axis that you can have in a house could be given by the tiling, you know, because when you buy your house, if you don't make a new floor, you have maybe tiling who give you already some axis, or a wood floor, the same, and you have also some beams that you can have on the ceiling, and you should absolutely follow this axis when you do your placement. So this is the most common case. So in that case, nobody do mistake. But in some houses, you know, you have some wood floor which is at 44 degrees like this, and in that case, you know, it could be a very good axis here. because if you have a house with a L, it means that usually you have windows here and windows here, and it could be very interesting to have a sofa or in this corner, and then to have view on the both windows. But maybe if the wood floor in this is in this axis, it's because on the ceiling also you have the same post. So in any case is different. You know, you have structure, you have posts, you have beams, and everything. So this is something really to study, because you know the worst thing to do in a such situation is to have, you know, some furniture here on this axis, after furniture here on another axis, and then another axis, and then it's not forbidden. It could be comfortable, it could be functionable, but for sure you will not find harmony with that. This is for sure.
I don't see harmony in that way.
Yeah. Okay, so then when you know how you will put your placement, as you pick already your fabrics, the curtains, the pattern and everything, the next step is really to set up all the fabrics and the pattern in the house. So usually this is mainly the curtains. You can have
your rugs and your pillows, your textiles that you bring in to soften everything.
Mainly in the bedroom, yeah. So you go first with the patterns and the fabric, and then before you put all your furniture in the final place, you should make a floor plan for sure. Because if you don't do that, you will not. You will save time if you do a floor plan, because if not, probably you will put the sofa at the wrong place, the coffee table at the wrong place. It will be not practical. So the best way to avoid any mistake and don't lose time is really to make a real floor plan.
Spatial plan.
Yeah, spatial plan for the larger items. For sure, if you have some bases, you don't put it on the. I'm talking really on the furniture, not on the accessories. So sometimes some accessories could be big, but especially for the larger items. This is so if you work alone now, you have many easy software to do that. We are in Silicon Valley, so. And if you work with an interior designer, usually he will do it for you. But this is absolutely necessary. Once more, not for a studio or one bedroom of.
Even for furniture choice, for ordering furniture, and I mean it's. So I can tell you how many clients I've had over the years who call me and go, "Oh, Erin, I found this great deal and I got these sofas and I just ordered them," and I'm like, ah. And they don't fit. They're too big, or they're too small, or they're too deep, or it's an easy little trap to get caught into, especially with the internet now and everything's at their fingertips. And so the spatial plan with measurements is critical.
Yeah, because we have one bullet point later on the furnitures, and what Erin said is really the most common mistake. You know, people are doing decoration. They shop on Saturday afternoon. They see a beautiful sofa, you know, especially the big one in hell, very comfortable. So you buy it, and after you put it in your living room, and nobody can move. So she's right. We will go back to that, but this is really for sure the first mistake to avoid is when you are at that point. You know, you are working on your decoration process. Don't buy anything at the beginning. Just wait. Okay, so we have our plan, and when you do the plan, but now you know what are the axes. You should also for sure follow the axes that you for those who make decision. Then you know on some. Once more, it's not all the room like this, but that can happen. In some room, especially in old houses or some also small apartments. You can have some recess like this, and the problem, you know, it could be a big one, a small one, but when it's like this, and it's very common because this is typically the plan, you know, for a 2-bedroom, and here you have the elevator or the stairs, so your flat inside is like this. This is something that happens, okay? So what you can do for that depends where you put your sofa, and then we will go later also to how to find the good place for the main thing in your room. But before we arrive at that point, if you have some recess, you have some time to put mirror, you know, to open the view, give light, and also give a symmetry. Because if you look at the room from here, if you have a mirror, you have a symmetry, because if you look from here, you can see here, but here, if you don't have mirror, you see the wall. But if you see here with the mirror, you have this view. So it's almost, if you can see up to the end, it opens the space. So this is something that you have to study also, because and at that point, because if you put a big mirror here, it means that you will not put a chest or a sofa or a frame or something. It's supposed to be like a window. Okay, so that's why you have to do that at that time at this step.
I mean, I totally agree, and I love what you're telling. But sometimes I think it's your lack of understanding in some places is the containment. And you know, in my practice, there's a lot of times when there's a lot of windows, a lot of doors, and then the people add extra mirrors, and it becomes too much. You know, I mean, it's really wise for this.
For sure,
thing,
there are
but
spaces
it's always,
like that.
It's always.
No,
I just want to give you a process to avoid any mistake and stay very logical and save time and have no regrets. Because if you plan to you buy something wonderful and it was supposed to go on this wall, and then you realize that it's very nice, but it's so close from the sofa now, and this is something you have really.
I mean, and there for sure, like say this was a loft and these were all exposed windows, you're not going to put a mirror here. You're going to put a beautiful piece of art to kind of ground that area. But generally speaking, that's not the case.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
You know, also when you do the decoration, you have. We will talk also about that later. But one of the secrets is to have a symmetry in everything you do. And why a symmetry? Because the harmony comes from the symmetry. So it's not something new. You know, the Greeks already, they studied that, you know, and everything they done at that time, long time ago, it was in respect of they call that the golden rules, and there are 3 criteria. It was iconic, domic, and correlation. So, and domic, it was even today, you know, domic, the resume is less is more. So be simple, it will be always nice and elegant. And iconic, the basement was the symmetry. You know, the iconic, on the Greek column, this is the famous volute, you know, like this. It was, or like this, you know. So it was the symmetry for everything. And also they had
very balanced.
This one, the balance. So, and the reason is very easy, it was because symmetry gives harmony. That's why, you know, basically when you have a bed, you have 2 nightstands, one on each side. But if you have 2 nightstands, it means you have 2 lamps, the same. But if you sleep alone, you don't need to have 2 nightstands and 2 lamps. But if you want a nice decoration, you do. So it could be functional and comfortable if you have two people in the bed, but even if you live alone, you have one on each side, just because of the symmetry and the balance and to get harmony. Okay. So symmetry, we talk about that. And the last thing is when you do your plan and your symmetry, following the axis and everything, you have really to think about what you were talking about, the comfort and the functionality. And in many cases, you know, even some very famous interior decor designer, they do sometimes, they say, nice things to see, but when you have to live in, it's almost impossible. So you have really, you should investigate on yourself and see what you like. You know, if for you comfort is to sit on the sofa with the table, on the coffee table, and a small side table for your beer, you should design your interior like this. You know, if you buy a very nice sofa, but you know, not very comfortable, you cannot spread on it, it's very hard. The coffee table is beautiful, but you know, if you scratch it each time you put your beer on the table, you cannot live. For you, it will be not comfortable, it will be not functional, and you will not have an happy life. And he was saying, for me, decoration is to enhance and increase my comfort and my enjoyment. So if you don't do that, you go against your goal.
There's always a way to create aesthetically pleasing, beautiful spaces, regardless of what the lifestyle needs are. So I think that's the key of what you're saying. And I think it's important that no matter what your client's needs are, you can give them a beautiful space, regardless of what their requirements are for their situation with family or disabilities or pets or, you know, anything.
Yeah, no, you know, some people, they love pets, they live with 2 big dogs, and they want to have bed dogs in the living room. Why not? But you can do that, no problem, and with harmony, and it could be very nice. Doesn't mean that you have to put a big pillow in the middle of the rug, and no, if this is the way he lives, no problem, but you can make something nice every time. But you should, you know, I am very basic when I am in my living room. I love to sit in the sofa and put my feet on the table and watching the TV or the fireplace, and this is how I live. So I will never buy, you know, a Louis XV sofa with a very special table with a top in very expensive marble that you cannot scratch because everybody is afraid. So I buy a coffee table that I can use, I can put my feet on, and I can clean it very easily because this is my comfort. You know, some other people, the comfort for them will be to buy a special sofa, you know, or the cat can try to scratch, but it's okay. Some others say, oh, I have kids, you know, I need a special fabric for my sofa. But for sure, if you like leather and you buy this kind of fabric for the kids, it's against your taste, but this is for your comfort. It is a balance after you have to choose.
Ask you a question. I like to come back to the layout and to the axis. Is there a different axis for each room, or is this like for the whole house?
No, for each room.
For each room.
Think of it as your structural flow for each space.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because even in decoration, you know, it's not forbidden to have one room with a style and another room in a different style. Because if it is an open space is difficult. But if you have, let's say, a bedroom, it's okay. You can have very modern living room and have a baroque bedroom. Doesn't matter.
It drives me crazy, but
Yeah.
some people like it.
Can you recap? Say I missed the part about how you generate the access is just based on the windows, lights, doors, or the actual perimeter of the space.
So
that's the geometry of it, or it's a more
Yes, think of it as a geometry.
okay,
Your floor plan, your walls, your ceiling slope.
like 3D view.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just
Think of
write
it how that impacts your energy flow. So
And
geometry is
the
a good word.
door. And the door as well.
Yeah,
door
the
and
doors, the
window.
windows, the beams, the floor with the, you know, if you have wood floor, it makes stripes. Tiling is the same, and I didn't see that a lot here, but in Europe, you know, many tiling or wood floor are not
Or at angles.
with 90-degree angles. We put that at 45 degrees, even in Italy. So it's more expensive to do.
Yeah.
That was the trend 10 years ago. That was a big trend. It's not as much now. Things are pretty much
straight line.
straight
Yeah.
lines again.
Fast.
But for about 10 years,
Yeah.
that was a very big trend to go at angles, and
Yeah.
it's kind of gone by the way. It's
Yeah, so
less
it
common.
depends, you know, when you see the room, so, you know, let's say 70% of the time it's very easy because it's a basic room. But especially here, you know, the house sometimes are very old and very sophisticated inside, and maybe it's a good opportunity, you know, to go with different axes. If you want to break, you know, the standards and try to have a different harmony, could be interesting. And when it's possible too. But if you can, sometimes.
I think outside the box.
Yeah. And usually now, you know, when I did some house like that, it was 2 years ago. What we did, we went 45 degrees, and here we broke the wall, and we put a window in the angle.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very, very small change, very small, inexpensive, because we have just to destroy, you know, 3 feet on each side. But the difference was huge because the entrance, I remember, was here, and when people enter in the room, and here, there was the ocean. So before there was so here there was a big window, there was a big wall here in the entrance with the access to the living room. So we broke the wall, we go 45 degrees, and we just cut the 2 walls and put a window in the corner. And the house was completely different. Yeah. And it was really inexpensive compared to the whole job. So this is just, I'm here also trying to give you, okay, if you like something, you should dare. Follow the rules, but you should dare. You like it, you want to do something special, this is your taste, this is your personality, do it.
It's usually the way to make it happen. Just it's how you tweak it to make it work.
Okay, so now we have our plan, we design something functional because we have dogs, we have kids, we have somebody with a wheelchair, I don't know, but this makes the placement of the furniture. Now you have to go and set up the accessories, because this is also part of the decoration, to put the accessories. But the accessories, we are used to say, oh, okay, I see something very nice, it's a very nice piece, and I bought it, the price was good, it was impressive, and so I took it, I put it in my room. It's not so easy. If you want to make nice decoration and harmony and symmetry, and Erin can explain to you, but usually when you buy the accessory, you should group your accessory by topic. So you can, because you are very specialist for that.
Well, there are just, I mean, you have an example, I guess, is if you have clients who have collections. I've had clients who have collected things from all over the world traveling, per se. really small items, and they've had them just scattered all over a bar room and a great room. And instead of showcasing them, like I've had custom cabinets built in with lighting so that all these miniatures, I have a friend who's a hunter who does safaris all over the world. And so we showcased everything in one cabinet, and his wife couldn't stand all the things he collected over the years. It drove her crazy, and now it's one of her favorite things to go look at because she remembers every trip that he's gone on or they've gone on together. And just grouping things is one example of something that helps make things showcase better but not look so distraughtly strewn around an area.
And you should also, and you should also group the accessories, you know, by colors or materials.
Oh, yeah, and accenting like on an end table.
You make some special accent. You know, you buy a very nice red vase. So perfect. The vase is beautiful. It's
and a basic rule of thumb for accenting like on an accent table is odd numbers. So you either have one statement item or maybe you have a larger item with two more, so it's 1 or 3. So maybe you have a beautiful statement lamp on a table and you have 2 smaller scale things to cluster with it, or you just have one big statement piece. But odd numbers are always your friend in accessorizing in areas.
Yeah, you should make small groups. You know,
even in floral
when Irene does a dress, because she does also beautiful tabletop table dressing. If she said, okay, today's topic is red, and make something with red items. So she will use different things red and mix with everything else. But she doesn't make a table with red, and also, we can put blue and we can put green. And for the accessories in the house, this is the same. You know, if you just put hints of colors with the accessories. Sometimes it will be 2 colors who complement themselves, so it's okay. But you know, when you see decoration with different colors everywhere, different accessories, different sizes, different materials,
just get lost.
Yeah, you should be really you should pay attention. You know, to make nice group. What's happened?
So I have a question. We have been thinking about this grouping and symmetry. We are building a new house.
Mm-hmm.
So in the family room, you know, along the TV wall, we have a big like a storage cabinet with a glass. It's about 10 feet tall, 3 feet by 10 feet on one side, 3 feet by 10 feet on the other side of the TV wall, just like this.
Okay.
So the question we have been thinking is, when we are grouping, you know, like it has, let's say 3 shelves, 4 shelves this side, shall we just create those groups on one side? And the symmetry, do we need to have a symmetry on the left and right, or shall we just each section as a kind of its own group? Basically?
You know, you can do it either way, but when you stand back at the back of the room and you look at either side, it needs to feel like the weight is balanced.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be this. You don't have to spread things out or make it like balanced perfectly.
Yeah.
But when you visually look at it, you should feel like you have the same amount of weight visually on each side, regardless of what you're grouping together. It doesn't matter what you're grouping together from a big perspective.
One of the things we are keeping there is, you know, wherever we went for vacations, like the nice photographs in the photo frames.
Yeah.
We have been, and other thing is, you know, all the kind of awards, everything kids got.
Yeah.
So one thing now we have been thinking is, shall we put like half of the photographs on one left side and half on the right side, or everything grouping together on the left side?
If you can create that balance visually with putting all the awards on one side and photographs on the other, by picking like heavier frames and glass frames to create heavier on the bottom, lighter as you go up, then you could split them.
Okay.
But if that's not going to work with the awards, then I would put the awards and then build your frames and your photos up.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so think about group your accessories, and then after, when you do some groups, you should group this group with other group. I mean, when you put a group of accessories, he should go himself in a group with other things. I mean, if you have vases, a small small sculpture on the table, he should go also with the painting, with the lamp, with candles. You know, so with your small accessories, you make a group, and then with these small
Things
groups,
should flow together.
you make big groups,
So,
and then you have really a corner and very special ambience. So not especially in the corner, but you should think about that.
It's like accent wall.
Yeah,
or
it's a special accent, you know, and so there is no rules after to mix special thing with others. This is your own taste, but if you respect, you know, the harmony between the materials, the colors, the scale and everything. Yeah, for sure. If you have sculptures big like this, and then you put a very small candle like this, even if both of them are red, it's not very sexy.
Are you going to be talking about colors on walls and stuff? Because I have some specific questions.
We arrive.
Okay.
I'm very slow because, you know, I even not finished the introduction.
Maybe
What we have seen is just the introduction.
color.
So we are almost finished, okay? So also a very important thing when you do your, so this is the next step. When you do your floor plan, you put everything you think about, then erase something because you need to leave some open space. So, because your interior design is not supposed to be like our shop or a museum. You know, for sure, when you go into a shop, you see many things, and we know that some people say, "Oh, I want to buy that. I will do that. I will do the same at home." But the showcase in a shop is not supposed to be your showcase. So it's very, very important. You know, you finish everything, say, oh, okay, that's fine. And then you say, okay, now where can I leave open space? And then you say, okay, forget that, forget that, forget that.
There's got to be free space
yeah.
to flow, so you don't feel, to me, I agree with the whole energy flow's got to be, you need open space in a home.
Oh, yeah. Okay, it's clear. And
no, you don't want dead space. No. You don't want, I can't stand dead, empty space not being utilized if it's just isolated, but you do need open space that flows.
Well, I think if I may just comment, it's like one of the lacking aspects in the new modern building, I mean architecturally right now, which I personally dealing on a kind of on a weekly basis, is when people go for the contemporary style and they want everything in glass, and then they develop sickness and they develop like, you know, kind of stress and they can't sleep. Nothing grounded. And this is just because by the, you know, how to help them to kind of create the flow and then contain, you know, to have that set of.
That's where even I have a friend who built a house in Pacific Palisades, and it was 3/4 of the house is glass, and it's beautiful and it's very open, and she needed that. She was a cancer survivor, but we had to go in, a couple of us, and really restructure how she'd hired another designer, and it was just there was nothing settling about the home at all. So we did big, heavy inlaid rugs that were darker and furniture that was clustered, and then it was okay to have all the open windows around everything, because when you walked into our living room, you knew, oh, this is where we're all going to go, and you felt comfortable there. Whereas before, you felt like you didn't know where to look. It was like, do I look here? Do I look here? Almost like you're being watched, not in a comfortable way. So there are ways to achieve that, but it is important.
Okay, so just to finish the process, then one of the last steps is to set up all the accessories who goes on the wall or the ceiling. I'm not talking about the lighting. So this is really the last step, because you have some special space to respect, you know. For example, this painting is a little bit low. So this is the last step. So we will go back on that later.
What's the formula?
Another day.
What's the formula? 1/3. Okay.
When you think
Yeah, 1/3. So usually the center should be 66 feet from the floor. I think in America it should be 68, because American people are tall.
It's going to depend on your ceiling height.
Yeah.
I think in America the easier way to think of it is in thirds. So depending on what your height is.
1/3, 2/3 kind of a proportion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine if you have 20 feet
Yeah, of course.
meter height,
But in an
then
average
you
home.
go with my 60 feet from the floor. 66.
Inches.
Okay, and the very last thing to finish your own decoration is the adjustment of the lighting. Okay, so this is at the end. So what we have seen now, it's just the process, because I plan to talk with you about each of these things now in your design. And this, there is a topic also only about the styles. So basically, if you want to have a good harmony, you need to work with even colors, have a uniformity between the colors and the materials, and even if you mix different styles, because this is not something forbidden. And especially in Europe, the designers are really used to mix different styles, because we can have a very, very modern Italian design for the sofa and the coffee table, and we can have a commode Louis XV, authentic, real antique, with a very modern vase on the top. So if you know how to mix, it's very nice, And in that case, it's not. We don't consider that this is a furniture. We consider that it's like a sculpture. Yeah. Even if you have drawers and doors and stuff inside, doesn't matter. But so it's very nice to mix different styles, and for myself, I really prefer to mix different styles than to see some furnitures coming from the, how they call that, the transitional.
Where everything looks generically the same.
Yeah, because now some brands and some factory, they are not good in modern. They are not good anymore in in the rustic style, and they say, "Oh, this is transitional." And I was talking with a rep, the one that you don't like, He was there. He said, "Oh, this is a very good company. They do transitional." I say, "I don't like even the word."
Yeah,
the word, because I go with one style or another style, or I mix two styles, but I don't go with something which is a mix itself of two styles, because it doesn't mean anything. So if you like it, you should mix different styles. But still think about the harmony. Because for sure it will be very difficult to mix rustic, typical American rustic style with, let's say, a Scandinavian style. But if you mix industrial with rustic, sometimes it could be okay. Or if you mix industrial with modern, could be okay. So this is something that we can do, but just think about the harmony. So you have also to respect a good balance with the volume and the space. So this is something that you will study when you do your placements. And also think about the line and the curves that you can have in the furnitures with the fabrics, with the curtain and everything, because you can play also with the, typically if you have a very narrow window, you want to put a curtain. If you play with some stripes, lines, so you make lines on the curtains, you will change the visual appeal of the window, of the room by itself.
There are lots of tricks, for sure.
Yeah.
Go on for hours and hours about the tricks to play on spaces.
Yeah. No, there is a very, very basic rule, but very efficient, You go always, so not in a very, very small room, because in a very small room, you have to keep only one color. But if it, for me, a small room is something like 120 square feet. After, if you are bigger, you can go with the classic scheme. So the basic rule is easy. You go always with two different colors. Okay. So one very neutral and all very light. And after you can have one ball color on one wall to make a contrast. Always.
And how about if the carpet is matching the walls at the
It's after
and then it's the rug like accent.
the carpet comes at the end, you know, first.
No, you know what I mean. It's like when they
Yeah.
move in, the carpet is
Carpet's
the same
gonna
color,
stay if they're renting,
right?
so.
They rent this. That's I know, but that they can do
So
area
in
rugs.
that
They can match
case, in
the
that
light
case, you should
neutral.
go by the color of the carpet and in order to pick up the color, the right color.
Yeah.
But you should really go with a very light color because you know we were talking about the white, but the white it's a funny preconception because
There are beautiful whites,
Yeah.
but it's finding the right undertone
but
to soften whatever the hues are in the lighting you're working with. If they're stuck with a carpet and it's a renter,
Yeah.
then
That's okay.
it's going to have to complement what is feeding into that room.
Yeah, because the pure white is very, very difficult to use. You know, here, for me, the only place to use a pure white, if you want really a white, is for somebody with a beach house in Santa Cruz, a glass house with windows, and then you have a lot of natural light, and then with the white, it doesn't make white, it makes contrast. It makes gray, blue-gray, shade, and then the white makes color. But you know, usually you never use white. Yeah, for an hospital maybe, or but this is not the color to use.
I think commercial kitchen I'll take it, but not hospital.
Yeah.
What about the ceiling in white? There is a lot of ceiling that are white, and then you have different color on the wall.
White
I'm a big
is a
fan
good,
of a white
yeah,
ceiling.
it's a
It
good
reflects
color.
light
Yeah,
better.
for the ceiling, it's a very good
It's better
color.
for your moods.
Yeah.
Colored
But-
ceilings are hard to pull off.
Yeah, but also there is a mistake with the white and the oh sorry the
Baseboard.
the baseboard, yes, and the molding if there is one because you see most of the time it's white or at least the same colors than the ceiling. So basically, if you don't, the white is only good to use for the ceiling because it's different because you don't have light on the ceiling. It comes from the ceiling, but it's not on the ceiling. Even with a lot of sun, you never have light directly on the ceiling. And you see the baseboard and the molding white. So you can do that, but only if the room is big. And if
it's a proper base.
Yeah, it should be
Not the little
more
trim
than
strap that, you know, the
3.5
quarter-inch stuff.
Yeah, 3.5 inch, yeah, minimum, and only in the big room. If you have less than 3.5 inch, you should go with the same color on the wall, because if not, the visual appeal is to you see stripes surrounding the room and also surrounding the ceiling, and it's really not nice. So this is something good to do, but only if you have a big volume and high ceiling, not something very low and very small, and because it doesn't help really. and most of the time, what I see it's white, you know. So. It's difficult after with a dark carpet. If you want a dark carpet, it's very strange.
Good.